Where I am now, better than before. Through those open doors, where I am now. Where I am now, I'm in a special place, a tender warm embrace. Where I am now.
It's now time for the most talked about radio show in the whole wide world. That's FYI Radio Show with your host, Miss Yolanda, the Lady Hinton. I'm Ed Everett, the co-host. The music that you hear in the background is none other than Miss Yolanda, the Lady Hinton, Where I Am Now.
Where I am now.
If you'd like to see us live in WPCE 1400 AM studio, all you have to do is go to Edward Everett's Facebook page, Miss Yolanda, the Lady Hinton Facebook page, and guess what? You can see us live right here in WPCE 1400 AM.
To see life's not easy.
If you want to hear us all over the globe, all you have to do is go to www.christianbroadcastingcompany.com, click and listen live, or 1400 AM or 1350 AM, and guess what? You can hear us all over the world. Now, I want to introduce to some and present to others the host of the most talked about radio show in the whole wide world, Miss Yolanda, the Lady Hinton, and a pleasant good morning to you.
Good morning, Mr. E. It's a beautiful day in the neighborhood.
Would you, could you, will you be my neighbor?
Let's welcome our neighbor. WGPL 1350 AM listeners.
And Peace 95.3 and WPCE 1400 AM.
Wow. Facebook Live is on. It's popping. But we also want to welcome LinkedIn, YouTube, and Twitter. Make sure you like, share, subscribe, and comment. We'll shout you out later on in the show.
Like, share, subscribe, and comment.
Like, share, subscribe, and comment. We'll shout you out later on in the show.
Shout out.
We promise. Mr. E, what day is it today?
Today is hump day. That's what today is.
Wow, what a great hump day. It's a beautiful day here in the Hampton Roads area. It's a little chilly, but other than that, the sun is shining, and it's just a wonderful day.
The sun is shining. Oh, you ever heard that song before?
Probably have, but Mr. E, I don't know if we know how to act. We over here in WPC studio. We're in a new studio here. We're usually here. We're usually at WGPL. We're at Peace 95.3. It feels good. It feels a little strange, but it has a good feeling to it, Mr. E.
That's right. We're working out the bugs so we can go ahead and do what we do.
Absolutely. Now, look, today is our Wednesday segment, What's Under the Hat? Issues Concerning Men.
That's right. Issues concerning men. That's what's under the hat.
But Mr. E, today we're going to take the time to talk about something that is happening right here in our community, right in our backyard. And that is some of the breaking news that's taking place. There you go, Mr. E. Give us that beep, 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 beep. That's what I'm talking about. You know, today we're going to discuss, and we're going to actually open up the phone lines. We would love for you all to join in this dialogue with us. We want to talk about the situation with the 6-year-old child who shot his teacher on last week, the Rich Neck Elementary School in Newport News. And we need to talk about it. There are a lot of perspectives, of course. A lot of people have a lot of things to say. But one thing about it, Mr. E, we don't know everything about it.
That's right.
We know what we know. We know what's been reported, and that's what we're going to do. We're going to look at what's been reported, and we're going to also find out how you feel about the situation. So Mr. E has some information for us. We have some school shooting facts actually.
That's right.
How many and where?
That's right. Ms. Simpson, when we begin to look at the school shooting facts, we'll find out that there are a lot of school shooting that's been around the globe.
A lot?
A lot of school shootings.
Give us some numbers.
When you look at the injuries and the death, we find that there was 51 school shootings with injuries and death. There's 140 people was killed, injured in a school shooting. There's 39 people that was killed in different areas. There's 32 shootings or children that were killed, and school employees or adults that was killed. It was number 7, and 101 people injured.
But people are shaking their heads and scratching their heads and saying, wait a minute now. We know some of the statistics, but when it comes to a child shooting an adult in a school, the numbers are low, but it is a reality, especially at this point.
One of the things that we have to understand, Ms. Hinton, we look around and we say to ourselves, what in the world is going on for a 6-year-old student, a 6-year-old young man to shoot somebody? Yes. Where did he get that idea from?
We don't know, and we don't know all the answers, but school is out right now for Rich Neck Elementary School. They're trying to find answers. The other day, a young 6-year-old child was in school, brought a gun from home, a gun that his mother had legally, came in, and all of a sudden the situation took place, and he stood up, walked toward the teacher, and he shot her.
That's right, Miss Hinton. He took so many stories that's going on about this allegedly. There's so many stories that we are finding out that is going on all over the globe about what happened and how it transpired, how it took place. But we really has to wait until the teacher get herself together so she can really tell the story about what's happening.
Well, Mr. E, we're going to hear from a lot of people, not only the teacher. We got to hear from students. They have mental health support for children. They're going to have to give an account of what happened from how they saw it. You're going to have the mother, the parent. She's going to give her perspective. You're going to have the investigation, mental health people, hospital, the child. You're going to hear from, anybody that saw it. They had cameras, I believe, outside of the classroom. There's some things that happened there. There are a lot of pieces to the puzzle. We have the chief of police. We have the mayor chiming in, the community, other parents. And so we're going to have to hear from everybody, but the investigation is going to go, they're going to rewind, they said, and they're going to start looking piece by piece at some of the things that took place before, during, and after. Somebody, and I know we discussed it just a little bit, they talked about, investigating this one or investigating that one. The thing about it is everybody better duck because, wherein somebody may say, well, the parent, she needs to be, somebody may say, well, look, I'm coming after the school or the school board or the city. So, everybody needs to, in my opinion, sit back, let the officials do what they have to do, investigate, and also see to it that this child, it gets the evaluation and the help that he needs in order for us to get pictures from the picture from his perspective. We would love for you all to chime in. We want to know how you feel about it, how parents feel about it. If you're a teacher, if you're an administrator, you're just someone just listening or viewing us, if you'd like to kind of like chat and discuss what you think, are you shocked? Are you afraid? Are you concerned about school safety? Are you concerned about gun safety? We want to hear from you. Like I said, We don't have all the answers. You don't have all the answers, but we can talk about what we feel and what we think. Let me say something, Mr. E. Hampton Roads is kind of reeling from a lot of things. We just had the incident at Walmart with the mass shooting, and one of the employees just opened fire on his co-workers and just killed, I think about 7 of them died, including himself. And so we're reeling from that. And then I saw the other day, well, yesterday, as a matter of fact, on the news, that those that had been involved, families and loved ones of the mass murder in Virginia Beach at the city, they're still reeling. They're still looking for answers, and they feel that they have not gotten justice. We also have where the young man was shot down at the ocean front, and the family members there are pausing the case because, hey, wait a minute now, you're not going to just offer us and sweep this under the rug. There's some more talking to do. So this area right here, the Hampton Roads area, is really, really reeling from all these instances. And then we had a double homicide on yesterday. So this is something I want, especially you all here in the Hampton Roads area, to chime in. Those that are viewing us, those that are listening, Mr. E's going to give you the number. Let's talk about it. Let's find out how we are really feeling about all these things that are taking place right here in our own backyard.
Ms. Hinton, when we talk about what's going on in the 757, when we talk about what's going around the Hampton Roads, I really would like for, we can talk with our opinion, because there's a lot of people that are doing a lot of dialoguing of what happens about what should happen and how this thing should come apart. There was some information that came across the wire about Chief Boone, what Chief Boone had said, what he feels that should have took place, and what he feels that that what is going on, just like what Chief Boone said on Tuesday. The former Norfolk Police Chief told News 3, Larry Boone, he told News 3 that we don't have all the details. By Virginia law, the child mother could be held accountable for his actions. In the case of the child, knowing where the weapon was located, knowing how to use the weapon, if the adult showed that child how to do all those things and how to locate the weapon, absolutely yes, the charge should be filed in that case against the mother.
And that's premature, let me say, and that is his opinion, but it is premature. They've got to investigate. They have to rewind. They've got to see where the problem stems from, what's going on. The Self-Esteem Queen says, as an educator, I am disturbed by this whole thing. I want to know what was the relationship between the student and the teacher, the relationship between the teacher and the parents, and how did he gain access to the gun, and how did he know how to shoot? What was his mindset?
And that's what folks are saying all around the town. How did this young fella have access to the gun? The law states you gotta have your gun on a safety lock. You gotta have it locked up at all times. You gotta put a trigger lock upon that gun. You also have to keep that gun from being in the hands of young folk. You got to store that gun away so that it will not be in the hands of just anybody. So now now they want to know, how did she have? Well, we found out that she did not have it locked up. We found out that it was not a trigger casing on it. It wasn't put in a box. So she must have showed the child where the gun is for him to go the day before, pull the gun out and take it to school.
I tell you what, they're also reporting that the teacher was in the middle of her routine lesson at Redneck Elementary School last week. I'm sorry, somebody, what the man said redneck yesterday, and I laughed and I said it. But anyway, the police said a boy in his class, just 6 years old, pulled out a handgun at his desk and pointed it at his teacher and fired. Now she's doing better. She's recovering, and we're glad about that. but they're not discussing her injuries like that. It says that though she was badly wounded, she sent the students in her class, as many as 20 children, scrambling into the hallway while another employee rushed into the room and restrained the 6-year-old, the authority said. If you all want to comment, Mr. E, what is the number?
The telephone number to dial is 757-624-9723. That's the telephone number to dial, 757-624-9723. That's the telephone number to dial. Miss Self-Esteem Queen has said, is this getting to the point where we need to
implement metal detectives in our school? We have a caller calling in.
Good morning.
Good morning, Mr. E. Is there a caller on the line?
Turn your radio down, please. Good morning.
Good morning.
Good morning.
God bless y'all.
Thank you.
My question of the day for that situation is, did someone teach him this? He had to lift the gun and cock it for it to be so small.
Yeah.
That is a good question. We want to know, how, first of all, where was the gun when he first got it, put it in his bag? Was it just laying around? We want to know, what was his mindset? Did he go with the intention of, okay, I'm getting ready to do this to my teacher? There are so many facts that we have to find out. They're going to rewind and they're going to let us know exactly how it played out as much as they can.
And to answer your question, I think somebody had to teach him how to
take their child back before they go to school.
Oh, wow.
So was the parent.
That's right.
That's a good point. Checking with your child. That is a very good point. Thank you so much for calling. That's a very good point. Check what your child is bringing to school, and check how you sending them out. What kind of, mindset he has when he's going out. You see, the parents really have to get involved in their children's education, not just reading and writing, but their whole mentality and what's going on. We talk about bullying with my nonprofit, and those are things that we have to look close at. And this is another thing. Miss E, we have another call on the line.
Good morning.
Good morning.
Good morning.
And God bless you all. Happy New Year. Good New Year. Going forward. And look, I was just listening to the tail end of what you were talking about. I used to be a teacher assistant here in Virginia Beach. But see, when he got argumentative with that teacher, from what I heard on several stations on TV, they were talking back and forth. He does that at home.
Wow.
He does that at home. You just don't go to school and start talking back and forth to a teacher out of order. Absolutely. You don't do that unless you are doing that at home.
Wow.
So you saying that what where it first capped off at is he's been doing at home, so he's the boss at his house, so he
boss man.
He's Mr.
Boss Man. He probably ain't never had nobody tell him, shut up, stop this, don't do that. Got a little spanking on his rear end that some of these kids need today, walking around here thinking that you see them in the mall, the way they talk back and forth to their parents, back and forth, they're going to have that last word, what and why. That was not allowed in my house.
That's right. Yes. That's right. Thank you for calling.
And when I say this? When I sit across the table with a group of kids, and I had one in all the years that I worked there, 20 years, that decided that his parents said, or his mom said that he could whistle in my group whenever he got ready to.
Wow.
He could do whatever he wanted to. But, I helped him out a little bit. I told him we have an opt-out paper. If you don't want him to learn, he can opt right on out and go right on out and go whatever, be failed, whatever happens.
Absolutely. Thank you so much. We're talking about different perspectives, and we have to find answers out from mom or dad. You know your child, or you know something about him, a lot about him. You birthed him. And so, how was his demeanor at home? What kind of a child is he? Is he that type of child? Was he bullied? Was he hurt? Is he combative? What are we dealing with? And those are questions that people have. People are wondering about certain things. They're surmising, Mr. E, but allegedly, well, we'll find out things, but the way he was and what he was like is allegedly, and we have to find out those facts soon.
That's right. We need to know how that, but well, they would get to the point to let everybody know. That's why they're doing an evaluation on the young man now to see what his home life was like, to see what he was doing, to see what was happening around his home life, so that they can really determine, was he a troubled child.
Mhm.
The telephone number to dial is 757-624-9723. You can give us a call. The lines are available, 757-624-9723. And then once they find out how that child how that child is, then they'll go from there.
Absolutely. We have a caller on the line. Good morning.
Good morning. How you doing? God bless y'all.
Thank you.
I have a question to you.
Turn your radio down, please.
Turn your radio down.
Turn. Excuse me, ma'am. Turn your radio down, please.
Yeah, we're getting a
Yeah,
lot
I
of
think there is a possibility. What did the teacher do to him to bring the boy to school?
Yes. Yeah, and that's what we need to know. What was the relationship between him and his teacher? Was there any friction? Was there, a problem? How did the child see the student? How did the teacher see the child? I mean, how did the child see the teacher? How did the teacher see the child? That's a very good question. What relationship was it? Was it a rough relationship? Was it always word for word combative? That's some things we need to know. Thank you so much for calling. Miss E, what you think about that?
According to the way the news was talking, they said that there was a problem between the kid and the child. Ms. Hinton, when we're looking at so many children, they're being raised by single families, they've been raised to do what they do. It's just like our earlier caller said, they are the boss man. And so they got so much authority this day and time, these children have, and they're not being raised like we would been raised to respect one another. And when you get a little 6-year-old child, and then when I look at Facebook so much and to see the way they dressing that child, they got earrings in their ears. They got
what child?
Children. The way they dressing children now to be, with the pants hanging down, with the pampers showing, earrings in the ears, and stereotyping, saying that sometimes you got to remember you can put an image, you can put a marking on that child to want to say you can do whatever you want to do.
Well, I tell you what, do you all think it's fair to say that this child intentionally, I mean, do we know that yet? That's been reported in the news. That's what's, all the national news, they're covering that he intentionally, now we know he did it. Allegedly they say he did it. He did it in front of many. But can we say that it's an intent? Did he bring it home? I'm just saying these are questions that people have. They want to know his motive. They want to know, what the relationship is between the teacher. They want to know if there was anything, any bullying, they want to know the heart of this child. And so they have a mental health specialist who's evaluating him. He's been in the hospital getting the evaluation. And this is why I say we have to pause before we pass judgment on any part of this story, because those answers we've got to dig deep to find.
That's right, Miss Hinton. When we listened to what they said the day before the boy went home, packed his bag to take it to school the very next day.
And what is the why? And this is the thing. What is the why of that? What is in the heart of this child? You all have an opinion. Please call us. Mr. E, what's the number?
The telephone number is 757-624-9723. Have we gotten away from asking our children when they go to school and come back home, how was your day? Was there any problem? Have we got away from a first grader? Now listen, to a first grade student, have we gotten away from having communication with the teacher? You got to remember, the boy only been in this world for 6 years, and this is first time going to school. Let's go to the phone line.
Good morning.
Hello.
Hello.
Hello. I want to give a call.
Yeah. Go
Well,
ahead.
my comment was this. I think the police, the judge, the lawyers, and all got a part to play in this because they do not allow parents to raise their children. I'm 93 years old, and when I come up, I did what my parents told me to do.
Yeah.
I was hooked when I didn't do it. I wasn't mad, but I was hooked. But you cannot chastise your child now.
Wow.
Yeah.
Woo. That's a good
And they
point.
have a lot to play for them when the child do something wrong. Then they want to jump on the parents' fault. But the parents can't do nothing for the child, they are in fault.
Yeah.
That is a good point. You know, is parenting different now? Can you discipline your child? You know,
Well, I know that because I am 93 years old and I've come from the country. My mom and dad raised me to send me to school and spanking me. If I got off, they were there. And they did not fight the teacher if I was disciplined in the right way. But now you cannot touch no child.
wow. Thank you so much for calling. You know, like I said, there are a lot of perspectives, a lot of things that we still don't have answers to, Mr. E. We've got to find out, the what that we've got to find out about parenting. We got to find about gun laws and safety, school safety, a lot of things that's a part of this puzzle.
She made a great point. She's saying back in the days of old, that we would got the rod, and then we can talk back to nobody, or we've been not. But here's a young lad, a young 6-year-old boy, and he's going to school, and he's having an altercation with a teacher
with a gun.
Before he got the gun, he's having a discussion. Why? Here's the question that comes to me.
Who said that? Allegedly.
They said the word, they had an argument where him and the teacher had a dissent of agreement. And so if him and the teacher couldn't get along, why the teacher couldn't contact the parent, and why the parent? First graders, that's too much responsibility that's put on their children. Just time for one more caller.
One more caller. Good morning.
Good morning.
Turn your devices down.
Good morning. How are you?
Doing good, and you?
Good. My name is Keith Spence. I'm military.
Yes.
And 70 years old.
Wow.
I have 10 children.
Wow.
One of the things we have to look at is this. There's a lot to say about this. We have to find out a lot about it. None of my children, I had a house full of guns. None of my children knew where a gun was, what it was. If we look at our society today, we tell them when they come from the hospital of birth what a gun is, who we should shoot, what we should shoot, and et cetera, and et cetera. We're making this happen ourselves. We can't get along with each other in the street, so what do you expect our children to do?
Wow.
What's a 6-year-old, why does a 6-year-old know where a gun is?
That's a good point. That is absolutely. Thank you so much. You all continue to join us just for a few minutes. But we thank you for joining us. We're going to finish this conversation on Friday. But you all be blessed. Have a wonderful day, and just pray.
For the past 30 minutes, you've been listening to the most talked about radio show in the whole wide world. That's FYI Radio Show with your host, Miss Yolanda, the Lady Hinton. I'm Ed Everett, the co-host. Don't forget to join us Monday, Wednesday, and Friday from 9:30 to 10 right here on 95.3 FM, WPCE 1400, WGPL 1350. And have a wonderful, wonderful hump day.
So our life is beautiful now. No sorrow, no. I heard.
Wow, we want to say good morning to
The Holy Light Church of
James
Deliverance
Overton. We have
Radio
another broadcast going on that we're going
located on the
to get out of here real quick. Yolanda Tillett, thank you for joining us. Sheila Robbins, Roberta Carter, Phil Brown, all you all that are on, make sure you comment, make sure you like, make sure you share our feed. We are just, I don't know, Mr. E, I don't know how you feel, but something just turns on the inside of me when we talk about things like this.
Miss Hinton, when we look at what's going on here, we all is in behoove about it. Give it a couple of days, it'll calm down. You won't hear no more about it. It's just like dealing with the Walmart shooting.
Oh, wow.
They done went in there, cleaned the Walmart out, and guess what? You don't hear no more about it. And the only time you have some stink in there, if somebody continue to egg it on,
Yes.
continue to talk about it. With this young man, this young man, everybody has their opinion. I, for one, think that the parents should have been involved. I take children to school, first graders and kindergarten. There are so many parents out there that are involved with the children, with their
Yes.
children in pre-K, kindergarten, and first grade. That is too much responsibility when you put on a first grader to go to school and to handle business like he's an adult. Parents need, and I know they got a lot of things on their hand. This classroom had 16 to 20 kids
Yes.
in there. And I know that could have been a whole lot of kids that for one teacher or two teachers. But somewhere down the line, they have to have a system where they have to communicate with the parents about that baby. That child is not even old enough to voice his opinion
Yes.
yet. So why would you allow that children? And plus one, why don't you pay attention to what's going on in your home? And so you monitor what's going on with your child.
You know, those questions are definitely going to be asked to that parent.
That's
Why
right.
did he get the gun? Did you hear the young man that called military said he had 10 children and he did not one of them know where the guns were?
That's right.
Never got a hold of it. How did this child get a hold of the gun? What went on in the schools? Why did the child bring the gun to school? You know, if you all have any questions, just put it down in the chat. What are you feeling? How do you feel about this? You know, we just can't talk about the story of it. We've got to talk about safety. We got to talk about gun laws. We got to talk about, you know, teachers and, you know, how they interact. We've got to maybe look before some of these kids come to school. We got to evaluate and find out if kids are ready and equipped to be in school. You know, sometimes I have a daughter who's a guidance counselor in elementary school, and they come in with some fears, anxieties. They come in with tantrums. They cannot, you know, don't want to disconnect from the parent, and they just, you know, they come in with so many different attitudes and energies, and so the school has to deal with it. And then sometimes you have parents who are just as rowdy as anybody else. They come in, they want to be combative, you know, they have that way about it, you know. And so, you know, our school safety is key. You know, guns coming in the school or being able to get through the schools for people to do harm to our children and family. We have a lot to think about. We got a lot to talk about. We got a lot of answers that we want. But Lord have mercy, if we can please, please, please start thinking about our children when they're young and start instilling our values and things. You know, the lady who was 93 years old talked about, hey, you know, there was a time if you thought you was going to talk back to an adult, or if you thought you wasn't going to get dealt with by not only the parents but the neighbors, honey, this is a new day, Mr. E.
We done got away from taking the responsibility of our family. We have allowed the parent, we have allowed the teachers. Well, they're out of my hands. I take them to school, and that's the ball game. I ain't got nothing else. The school is my babysitter. The school will take care of my child, and all I need to do is go to work, come home, or you know, and
Yes.
the teacher is raising the child for me. That we done got away. We done got away from really paying close attention to our children. So we done got away from paying close attention to our children. Now we're gonna have to get a design where the children would come to school with not regular backpack but clear backpack, like they take on the airplane, so that they can see them what's in their backpack. And I think that, like the lady said, children should never get to the point where they gonna tell the teacher what to do, how to do it, and when to do it.
I tell you what, for 5 years, I was in Newport News with the prevention program for youth, first grade and sixth. And I'm telling you, some of them were very challenging. Some of them, a few of them, you had to bring parents in because they wanted to take over their classroom. They wanted to be able to say anything. They had attitudes.
That's right.
And, some of them had tendencies of being a little violent at times.
Society has said that a child got opinion. Let that baby voice his opinion. He's only acting out.
Respectfully.
Right. But see, if that child has an opinion, and I done seen too many people on Facebook, I done seen too many folks that's on what you call that world something world where they World Star.
Uh-huh.
I done seen too many people on TikTok. I done seen it on Instagram where folks are watching these children lay the parent out,
Yes.
and they think it's cute.
Yeah.
They think it's funny.
Yes.
And her calling the baby ain't but 3 or 4, 5 years old, can't even spell his name, can't even write his name, but he know how to cuss like a sailor. He know how to fight. He know how to take guns in his hands,
Yes.
and pretend that he's shooting. Where is the responsibility lies? It lies in the home. Where are those who are ruled over the household? What are they doing?
And what is influencing children? So many things. And we talk about the media. We talk about environment. We talk about games. We talk about so many things that can get in the mind and the psyche of a child and influence it. It could be parents. It could be, cousins and them. It could be
Right.
siblings. It could be uncles. It could be, the neighbor. It could be, a child has mental health issues. It could be bullying. It could be so many things, but we definitely have to sit back, pause, and say, okay, we got to find out exactly what this thing is.
Do you think people done got to the point that they don't care anymore about the rearing or the raising of children? Do you think that the parents that are out here now are too young parents? Because here we are, we're seeing 26-year-old grandmamas. We're seeing 23-year-old
That's true.
grandmamas,
We say 26.
26-year-old grandmamas and 15-year-old mamas, where there is nobody old enough to really put some discipline or some wisdom in their family.
Yeah, we do see a breakdown, Mr. E. There is a breakdown, but I know there are a lot of parents that love their children, but there is a breakdown in the moral code. I mean, even our leadership politically, if you look at it, they cut up so bad. How in the world you expect children to act right and the adults are cutting up?
Right. They lead by example. They learn. Is that the right word? They learn by example.
They learn by example.
If all you do is let daddy play the games all day long, all you do is sit back and don't want to work. Well, that's what that child is doing. He's looking at who his leaders may be. And so if nobody is really disciplined, that Johnny, you need to go to sleep, and Johnny, you need to lay it down, Johnny, you need to stay home. If everybody would pay close attention to the responsibilities of the children, we wouldn't have all this stuff.
Absolutely. Want to say good morning to James Overton, Jakina, Denise. How are you, young lady? Jeanette Richardson. Thank you all for joining us. We're going to finish this discussion on Friday. We talked about it on Monday. And as a matter of fact, you can join us on Monday evenings at 6 p.m. We're talking about all kinds of topics. We're going deep, deeper than even our morning show. We have the time to really talk and discuss some things. So we ask that you join us on our Monday evenings at 6 p.m. Go ahead, Ms. C.
I was looking at the handgun laws when we're dealing with the situation.
Mm-hmm.
It said formerly Virginia laws from 1993 to 2012. They had one handgun a month proposal who bought back life, and there are different things. And it was $2,000 if you got caught with a handgun that doesn't have the proper identification that you should have for that gun. They said reported that lost and stolen. They're telling what you
Yes.
need to do. If your gun has been lost, report it.
Yes.
That the gun has been lost and or stolen. Cities and countries restrict guns. Universal background checks when you purchase a gun.
Yes.
Red flag laws. These are just a few things that we need to go back to. The gentleman said earlier he was military, had 10 or 15 guns. He didn't put them guns up nowhere, didn't put no locks on them.
Yes.
And the children didn't mess with the gun. And so, we living in a total different generation where you got people walking in Walmart, you got people walking in Targets wearing with the handguns on them.
Yes.
But who's stopping them to see if they got the proper paperwork?
Absolutely.
And so, and then if they ain't got the proper paperwork, who's stopping them? Nobody's stopping them. So now the children has a role model that they're seeing.
Mm-hmm.
I'm going to be like him. I'm going to wear and the parents have already dictated to that child of who he wants to be and what he wants to be like. So we got to get back to basics. We got to go back and turn things around so our children won't grow up so fast. So our children will learn and be disciplined and know that is an adult. She ain't your equal. Right now, every child that we come in contact with, they think that they're your equal. So they figure that they can talk. Well, old folk used to say a child needs to stay in his place. A child would never be in a grown folk conversation.
Yes, Mr. E, it is something that we are going to be talking about for a while. I am just so glad that we have a chance to invest in the lives of children. We have this evening Young Women Achieving Success program. It's in Chesapeake. It's at 6 p.m. And we have a free program for girls 10 to 17. You all, please let us support you as mentors. Let us support parents and the community because these things are happening, and we've got to make sure we are helping to develop leaders, not killers. Not kids that are, don't have a resolve or that are being bullied and they end up, traumatized and turning on the community. We need to start young. And so you all please inbox me. Let me know if you're a grandparent, a mom, a dad, or auntie, or whatever. You got a girl 10 to 17. We're in Chesapeake, Virginia, 6 p.m. Call 757-287-6792, or just inbox me and say, yeah, I need a child to be in the program. Mr. E, is so much going on, but we will continue this dialogue. Mr. E can tell us how we can actually be a part of FYI Morning Show Live and also the After Dark. He's going to give us that information.
If you'd like to be a guest or a sponsor or intern of FYI Radio Show, give us a call at 757-714-7861. Our inbox is at Edward Everett Facebook page, Miss Yolanda the Lady Hinton Facebook page, our FYI Facebook page. Our email is at FYIRadioShowLive@gmail.com. That's FYI Radio Show Live@gmail.com. And don't forget to join us Monday, Wednesday, and Friday from 9:30 to 10 right here on WPCE 1400, 95.3, WGPL 1350, and WMVA 88.9.
Don't forget to join us back here on Friday. Have a wonderful, wonderful day and be blessed. Thank you for joining us.